Welcome to Studio 5, the cast of Creed 3, the resurrection story like you've never seen it before, and singer and songwriter Matt Redman. We've got all of them for you this week, plus our countdown of the top 5 stories making headlines in the world of uplifting entertainment. Here are the first 2.
At number 5.
They take your name. They give you a number. That's how it starts.
It's a record start at the box office for the newest chapter of the Adonis Creed story.
Creed 3 went into the weekend looking at a projected franchise-high $40 million domestic opening.
I'm just getting started, little brother.
It did better than that, $58.7 million. Good for first place, and $23 million more than Creed 2's 2018 opening gross.
What made you want to join this boxing franchise and add this to your collection, if you will?
The Rocky franchise, these boxing films, are the most iconic sports films in the history of cinema. I think that's a true statement. I believe that's a true statement. And to join that, you know, as an actor, and particularly in this capacity, you know, as, yes, the Rocky is very iconic, Creed is very iconic, but their opponents are just as iconic, you know, and so to kind of join that pantheon, it's a huge challenge, but also a huge honor.
At number 4.
Chris, they're ready for you.
Lots of buzz behind comedian Chris Rock breaking his silence nearly a year after actor Will Smith slapped him on the stage of the Academy Awards.
Everybody is talking about Chris Rock's live Netflix special Saturday night.
Chris Rock is getting the last laugh after that now infamous slap at the Oscars last year.
Pulling no punches, Chris Rock coming out swinging last night in his first comedy special nearly a year after that infamous slap by Will Smith at the Oscars.
You know, anybody that says words hurt has never been punched in the face.
Comedian Chris Rock pulling no punches.
Will Smith played Muhammad Ali in a movie. You think I auditioned for that part? He played Muhammad Ali. I played Pookie in New Jack City.
That begins our countdown. We're excited now to turn to Creed 3. It hit box office to rave reviews for the story, for the stars, and for the first-time director, Michael B. Jordan. We traveled to Los Angeles for the premiere and the chance to sit down with Jordan, Jonathan Majors, and Tessa Thompson.
I spent the last 7 years of my life living out my wildest dreams. Bianca, Rocky, my dad. This was built on their shoulders.
How much of Michael B. Jordan's story is in this chapter of Adonis Creed's story?
I mean, this is the essence of a bit of it. Adonis is a father, a husband, a better man. And I think it's the only character I played 3 times over the last 9 years of my life. So, you know, I kind of had an idea of the similarities, and you know, maybe some of the things that, you know, a young black man like that would be going through, you know, with the success and just all the obstacles and things that the weight that he might be holding on those shoulders. So I leaned into some of those things. Hey, my man, can I help you?
Let me get an autograph.
No, I ain't signing no autographs, but you get off my car.
You don't remember me, huh?
Damien.
What's Damien's internal fight? What's his struggle?
Oh, it's this idea of freedom.
How long were you locked up?
18 years, bro. Just got out last week.
Glad to have you back out, huh?
I know I've been away a long time, but I kept myself in shape. I still got gas in the tank.
Come by the gym.
Thank you.
How is it that he has his drive, he has his ambition, he has his body, he has his ability, and yet he's not the champ? He's not seen as worthy. That's humiliating. He's fighting against that.
I didn't tell you. We was like brothers. I was the best, though. But I never got a chance to prove that.
That's cute.
I imagine, as we know, this was a physical workout. How emotional of a workout was it for you?
I think, you know, as a director, you have to obsess over it. So it's emotions are going to be involved. Every day's a fight. I'm fighting for ideas. I'm fighting for time. I'm fighting for sets, locations, wardrobe. I'm fighting for everything.
Something is going on with you.
Damien was like family.
Now we past talking.
Then maybe you just have to find him.
What was the shift like? I know you act alongside Michael B. Jordan all these years, but now you act and you get directed by him. What was that like?
It was such a joy. I mean, the truth is our process has always been so collaborative. In a way, we have always been directing each other, oddly, over the course of making these films, because we check in with each other so much. We're always in conversation, like, how did that feel? How's this feeling? And we're always like kind of co-authoring the characters too. So in a weird way, the shift didn't feel that stark.
The higher you get, the harder it gets. That's life.
Because this is a war. It's a fight, it's a battle.
How much is it the responsibility of someone who succeeds to then open the door for someone who's coming after?
I mean, it's more complex than that. I think that was some of the conversations that we wanted to have.
There may have been a time when Damien had your back.
No friends in the industry.
But that's not what he's doing now.
There is no black and white, there's no right or wrong. There's just like perspective and a lot of gray area, which life is. And I wanted to have that conversation with these two characters.
Damien's fighting the world and he's trying to hurt people.
I vouch for you. You think you mad? Try spending half your life in a cell. Watching somebody else live your life. I'm coming for everything. You threatening me?
You see a tension there between the two characters. How much is it incumbent upon those who are successful to help bring those, like a Damien who's left behind, up?
You can be a gatekeeper or you can be a bridge builder. If I'm already there and you're way over there, I can bring you here. You know what I mean? Teach a man to fish. You know what I mean? I can bring you here. You know, I can't do it for you. But I think what you must do in success, to those you feel or will do no harm, they should be brought in closer. You know what I mean? Because so many times, if you don't see it, you can't be it.
I need you to let go of your fear. Let go of the guilt. Let go of whatever was and walk into what is.
Creed 3 is in theaters right now. We'll give the cast the final word in today's show before we say goodbye. But right now, we have lots more to share.
Still ahead.
What was your crime?
My crime was sharing the good news about my master. To tell you the truth of Jesus.
It's Cirque du Soleil meets the Passion of the Christ. We have a look at how the live-action stage show became a big-screen movie. At number 3.
If you're in a loving marriage, you have to develop a healthy hate for any attractive person that's not your spouse. You just gotta...
An honor for a funny friend of Studio 5, comedian Lionel Harris graced the stage of Angel Studios Dry Bar for a comedy special now available for its streaming platform.
So they're like, oh my gosh, look at all these beautiful women. Look at all these dimes. That's what we call beautiful women growing up. Look at all these dimes. Lionel, you see all these dimes? Nah, man. When I got married, I got Cash App, Zelle, PayPal. My wife don't let me carry change. I don't see dimes.
At number 2, it's a Studio 5 first look.
Abraham, Lord, take now your son and go to the land of Moriah, and there offer him.
Angel Studios delivers the first ever crowd-funded theatrical release with His Only Son, hitting theaters nationwide at the end of the month, based on the biblical account of Abraham and his son Isaac.
The Lord came to me last night. I must go to Moriah and make a sacrifice to him there. Isaac and I will go alone.
Why, Isaac?
Because the Lord commands it.
Make sure no harm comes to our son.
Hey, welcome back to Studio 5. We'll have the final story in our countdown in just a little bit. This is Lent season, and that brings us to our next production. It's been called Cirque du Soleil meets the Passion of the Christ, and the live-action stage show, The Thorn, hit the big screen for 2 days this week. While those days have passed, there are plans to make it available to even more audiences.
What was your crime?
My crime was sharing the good news about my master. To tell you the truth of Jesus.
So John, let's begin with sort of the history of the Thorn. What gave birth to this production?
Well, the Thorn was born 25 years ago.
We must travel back to the very beginning of time.
And I actually moved to Colorado Springs to run a small business, volunteered for my local church, and became sort of an accidental youth pastor. Wasn't a great preacher, so we would do a lot of what back in the day we called them illustrated sermons. There was one Wednesday night when, after the sermon, this is October of 1996, this 16-year-old girl came and sat at the edge of the stage, and she began weeping. And she held out her arms, and I could see where she had been cutting up and down her arms. And I looked at her and I said, you don't have to do that because Jesus did that for you. And so then I thought, next Wednesday night, we're going to do an illustrated sermon. And I want to communicate the price that Jesus paid for us. I wanted them to see this is what he endured for you when he endured the flogging, the road to Calvary, and the crucifixion, and then, of course, celebrating the resurrection. So I wanted to show that, but also I wanted to show the reality of the supernatural battle. I believe the supernatural battle for the hearts, the identity, and the destiny of young people. So I thought to myself, what could we do with the story of God if we used some of these same elements of stagecraft and movement arts and symphonic score and capture people's attention and then bring them face to face with Jesus? That was the idea. And so that very first Thorn show we did for Easter, a true story, we had a line of cars that couldn't get into the parking lot. People were parking on the field by the church, crawling over under the fence to get into the church to watch the production. Over the next 10 years, we had tens of thousands of people every year coming to see the Thorn live. We now have 50 performers that travel around the country with us every year, and they're world-class performers that love Jesus.
What's a Messiah?
It's a hero that was foretold of by our elders long ago.
And now people will be able to see it in theaters. Tell me about that.
I had done a project a few years before with Dallas Jenkins. So I was watching what he was doing with The Chosen. This is 2020 or 2021. And I saw what happened with The Chosen in movie theaters. And then I got the idea, I wonder if we could capture our show, even if no audience is there. What if we just captured the show and then brought it to movie theaters as a way to continue telling the story and create a legacy for what the Thorn has been? And so that was the beginning of the idea. And then 2022, we filmed it in front of a live audience. We actually ended up having 10,000 people that came to the shows in 2022 to be there for the recording. You see it in a way in the film version, you would never see it live experience.
I've seen blind children see, lame beggars walk. He cured the incurable.
We're really honored and excited to bring this to a broader base of people to experience hope and to experience Jesus and to find freedom.
What's been the impact you've seen from this production over the years?
It's humbling. I can tell you hundreds of stories for sure, of freedom from addiction, freedom from depression, finding hope in Jesus. And that's the power of this production. It's not about the actors or the lights or the fog or the flips, that's all just window dressing for the core message, which is Jesus loves you this much. There's nothing you can do to make him love you less, and there's nothing you can do to make him love you more. He loves you just the way you are.
I thought you told me that Jesus was going to become king. They don't crucify kings.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
So it began in that youth room, and now we're just amazed at what God has done over the last couple decades.
John Boland directs the show that more than 1 million people have seen over the course of some 25 years. And as you heard, it began as a play for young people in his church. We'll keep you posted on the next plans to make it available to you. We are just moments away from taking a break, but before we do, we are pleased to share this week's story in pictures. Here's Studio 5 Snapshot.
We've shared the Creed 3 story from the big screen. This is a look at the cast in Community, with Michael B. Jordan leading the charge. The actors have not only been promoting their film, but working to make a difference in communities across the country, serving young people who can find inspiration in this latest chapter of the Creed franchise. You're looking at photographs from their stops in Atlanta and Chicago. Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors made visits to Boys and Girls Clubs and schools. Their stops often included checks to support the programs they visited. A photographic look at their action is this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Just moments away.
Hallelujah to the Son of Suffering.
Matt Redman's music and its new connection to the Chosen series.
Welcome back to Studio 5. The hit series The Chosen began and ended this third season in theaters. Fans showed up and broke records. And singer and songwriter Matt Redman lent his heart and his voice to the project. He opened the finale of Season 3 with an exclusive re-release of his song, Son of Suffering.
Oh, the perfect Son of God in all his innocence.
What prompted the desire for this conversation is The Chosen. First, how did you get connected to the series?
Well, obviously, like a lot of other people, I've been following along.
Man of sorrow, son of suffering.
And then they got in touch and asked if maybe we could collaborate on a song or something.
There's a God who weeps. There's a God who bleeds.
So when they came to us and said, should we do something? We were like, actually, we could, and we have an idea. If you check out this footage, it kind of matches up. So we ended up taking some of their chosen scenes and then our live setting and blending them together in a video, a song called Son of Suffering. And it was fantastic.
Some imagine you are distant and removed, but you chased us down in merciful pursuit.
Tell me about what gave birth to that song initially and why you think it's so fitting for The Chosen at this time.
It was really this concept of blood and tears. How can it be there's a God who weeps, there's a God who even bleeds? Because that's not something you would ever make up. You think of a God as high and holy and above all things and powerful in every way, no flaw, no weakness. How can it be that he would choose vulnerability and will become one who weeps, one who even bleeds? And so really that was the angle on the song, the solidarity of God with our suffering, the fact that he identifies with our pain. You know, just sometimes we sing about just the eternal side of who Jesus is, but sometimes it's important to sing about him walking in the dirt. And when you watch The Chosen, you see the life of Jesus. You see him struggle. You see him embrace people. And so I think that maybe that's why the song is a good match, because we're talking about Jesus as he walked this earth. And in fact, the song says, oh, the perfect Son of God in all his innocence, here walking in the dirt with you and me. He knows what living is. He's acquainted with our grief, a man of sorrows, son of suffering.
Matt Redman's latest project is called Lamb of God. It's available right now wherever you purchase, stream, and download your music. Well, we have made it to the final story in this week's countdown of the 5 best headlines in the world of uplifting entertainment. Here is this week's number 1.
At number 1.
I'm going to call it the Alabama A&M Dust the Dawn Party.
Prayers for comedian and radio host Ricky Smiley, who's speaking out following the death of his son, Brandon.
We thought that he was doing better. He had just joined the church, had just got baptized again, probably a month before he passed away. And, you know, he went in, he used, and it killed him.
His family awaits official cause of death, but signs point to a drug overdose.
I still have to do my morning show. I still have to press my way through, pray my way through, lean on my spirituality, because the God that we serve is just awesome, have given me peace that surpasses all understanding. And if anything make me cry, it's God's goodness, to be able to get out of the bed, to be able to do my morning show, to be able to protect the rest of my kids, my grandkids, and the rest of my family. So I just thank God for his grace and his mercy.
Hey there, welcome back to Studio 5. As you know, music fuels our production every single week, and this week it's a closer look at a song we've talked about for the last few weeks. It's the collaboration between Dolly Parton and Dionne Warwick. Take a listen and you'll hear why Peace Like a River is what's playing in my ear.
Like a river, he's yours, he's yours, and he is mine, he's mine. He's yours, he's mine. He's like a river.
Well, before we say goodbye today, we have time for just one more thing, and we want to give the final word to the cast of Creed.
It's so important for us to just lock in on things that we love. So many distractions out there, that's going to keep us moving in a bunch of different directions. And just because you're locked in on one thing, that may not be where you end up. That might just get you the tools or put you in a position to find out what you're really after. So just be obsessive.
With whatever challenges you face, I would say that how important it is to have, yes, belief in self, but also don't be hard on yourself in those moments when you falter. Just lean on the people around you to bolster you up.
You keep swinging. These trials and tribulations help you build up your dignity and help you build your character. And that's for real. That's for real. It is the strenuous circumstance that will build your strength. And you are fortunate and you are blessed to have this weight now. So in manhood, you can stand up straight and you won't blink when the pressure's on.
Creed 3 is in theaters right now. Thank you. That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye. We thank you so much for watching.